Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs himself, aka Richie Von Ditchy. He is Davey Audio. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
I'm feeling swell tonight, Richard. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing swell as well.
You doing swell?
I'm doing swell.
You get the Camp Ho Ho head on, huh?
I get the Camp Ho Ho. Go Hobart. Go Squad. There you go.
What is Hobart's mascot? It's something like having to do with like government, right? The statesman, yes.
They are the statesman. They recently changed their mascot as well. He's not that handsome. They changed him. He's worse looking now. Yeah. Not a fan. Not a fan of that. Ryan, have I told the people about our Twitter account? You can follow our Twitter account at
Please
Dork
do.
Podcast. It's probably the best Twitter follow in the business.
It's there's a lot going on there at all times, and I think it's important for the people to know that we're not just shooting the breeze with like video games and comic books and Marvel movies. We got others. We mix it up. We scrap it up on Twitter.
We mixed it up, and I think also we tweet out a ton of trailers, and feel free to respond with how you feel about the trailer. Let us know.
Yeah,
you know what? I think it stinks. I think it's great.
That's or even if you want to throw us a God damn it,
it's all good.
It's all good.
Either way, yeah, it's all good.
You know what, Richard? I found that the worst reaction to anything is a lukewarm reaction. So if you're gonna come in hot, you're gonna come in like guns blazing. Either way, love it or hate it. I love it.
Hot or cold, not
hot or cold.
Not just kind of.
Do you think it's better for people to come into a thing cold or come in hot?
Oof. What are the stipulations? What do you?
I don't know. I don't know, but something to think about.
I would say
it's better to come in hot or cold.
I would. You
know what? Let's not get into it.
I don't want to get it. Let's just leave it there. Also, you can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Do all that stuff. We appreciate it. It all helps us. Tell a friend. Tell a dork. Ryan, what do you say we get to the old news?
Let's hit it.
All right. First things first. We did a whole episode on Spider-Man news a couple of weeks ago, and the Sony CEO did an entire interview with Variety, and
this fucking guy.
Yeah, he's like, some of the key things that jumped out. He said the door is still closed right now for Spider-Man to be in the MCU, and then he also went on to say, like, we're fairly capable. Like we're doing okay. And he's like, Spider-Man was doing okay before the MCU.
No, it wasn't.
Oh God, and like,
no, it wasn't.
He made a lot of money.
Yes,
but he could have made more. And the most recent movies were all bad.
Yes.
Again,
including Venom.
And Venom. Yeah, if you don't count Spider-Verse,
it's not that's its own thing anyway.
I don't count that.
Yeah.
If you go Spider-Man 3 with Sam Raimi, both amazing Spider-Mans, and Venom was probably the best of the bunch, but even still, it's like that's not great.
Right? Venom, when you say out of your last 4 movies, Venom's the best one.
And clearly the best one.
That's not great.
And then maybe actually Amazing Spider-Man 1 I didn't hate. I'll take it back. That one wasn't awful, but it wasn't good.
Terrible basketball scene. Again.
Yeah. Not as bad as Catwoman, though.
It's up there, though. Like for the worst basketball scene in a movie, that's up there.
Ooh, you think Amazing Spider-Man is the worst basketball scene in a movie?
It's up there. I didn't say it is. I'm just saying it's up there.
I think it's Catwoman.
It is Catwoman. It is Catwoman. But like, where does Amazing Spider-Man fall?
Yeah, it's up there.
Like Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf was some bad basketball.
That was some bad basketball.
Cable Guy, bad basketball.
No way. I'm on Steven's team.
Do you want to pull a hammy?
Thanks. It's my first slam dunk. That was actually one of the best basketball scenes.
Didn't he say it's the first time I made a slam dunk?
Yeah, he said it like really weirdly.
Really weird. Like no one would ever say that.
No. But he nailed it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Spider-Man's not coming back to the MCU anytime soon. Ryan, we have a pile of trailers to talk about.
Do we ever?
Did you? And these were all tweeted out at Dork Podcast. If you want to go back and check out all of these, what do you think of the Bad Boys for Life trailer? Bad Boys is back.
The boys?
What you gonna do?
Did Martin Lawrence find out about this movie the week before it started shooting? Is that the best shape we could get him in?
I'm curious if it was fat suit. Was that a fat suit?
Is it Big Mama's house or is it Bad Boys?
Big Mama's house. I don't know.
He's looking a little bloated. Now, I'm not one to talk.
No,
but
neither am I. Come
on.
Camera adds a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah, how many cameras are on that guy at any given time? You know what I mean?
Not nice. I don't like that. I don't like that kind of talk. I do think that both the two Bad Boys movies are both ready for this.
Yeah,
great movies.
They are certainly wildly entertaining.
So
Wildly
fun.
entertaining. And
So
make
fun.
no sense. Why would two city police officers get clearance to go to Cuba
Correct.
and take out a drug lord's house in
With like rocket launchers. And
how? Like
just
how
throwing
do they
cars
do,
at
how
each
do they
other.
get on board? How
They're
do they let
super
those guys
fun.
do that?
Like they're like,
Oh, come on. Yeah, I mean,
I love them both.
yeah. I mean, they were Fast and Furious movies before those movies existed.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I remember it took me a long time. I was shocked because when did Bad Boys 2 come out? Like 2002,
you
probably.
want me to hit the Googler?
Yeah, my guess is 02 or 03. That's gonna be my guess.
Bad Boys 2, 2003.
Okay, so it came out in 2003. It took me like a super long time because I certainly didn't care about like critics, or I don't even know if Rotten Tomatoes was a thing then.
Yeah,
I didn't care about any of that. And so it was like 10 years later, because I loved Bad Boys 2. It was like in my collection, all that stuff. It was like 10 years later where I was like, oh, that critically, that's not a good movie. Like people don't like Bad Boys 2.
What do you mean?
Like,
what do you mean?
I was shocked. I was blown away by that. I'm like, that's actually a great movie. It's a
22%. I think I'm looking at it right now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's even
on
worse.
Rotten Tomatoes.
It's fun. It's first of all, it's funny.
The scene now, I know Will Smith has a reputation for clean rapping and not swearing.
But in the movies though,
the movie Bad Boys, when him and Martin Lawrence answer the door with Reggie comes to the door.
Oh my God, Martin,
laugh out loud, funny.
It's amazing.
You have Will Smith saying the F and the N word,
just all of it.
And it's amazing
Screaming
how funny they are together.
Also, the scene where Martin accidentally takes ecstasy.
Yes.
And he's like losing it, and he's staring at the fish in Joey Pants' house, and he's like, hey, that's a big fucking eyes. That's a nice fucking fish.
I just love the scene with Reggie when they're like,
yeah,
how old are you? He's like, 16. You at least 30. 16.
Oh. Anyway, I don't know if I'll see it at the theaters, but
I don't know if I'll see it in the theater, but I'm definitely seeing it.
Oh my God, for sure! I can't wait.
The second it's free, I'm all over that.
I'm all over it. Ryan, did you see the trailer for Mr. America?
It didn't. How rare is that? It didn't.
Roy Donk. It's one of these ones. It's a fake thing where he's like running for town something or other. The guy from, was it Tim and Eric?
Yeah, Tim and Eric. Yeah,
from the Roy Donk stuff, and I think
this is something that should have been on my radar, and this is not good.
Go back and watch it. It could be good. It could be a pretty good comedy. He looks like it's outrageous. I don't know if it's. I couldn't tell just from one viewing if it's sort of Borat like, where the people in the movie don't know it's a movie. You know what I mean? Like I'm not 100% sure yet, but I am looking forward to that. There was a Black Christmas.
I saw this in the theater last night. I saw it in the theater.
I didn't get. Oh no! You know what I did? I'll tell you. I showed up really late, so I only caught like the last trailer because I knew how long the movie was going to be.
Yes, right.
But Black Christmas, the original, I like a lot. 1974's Black Christmas. That's that's an annual one that I always tell people to watch during Dorktober.
Yep.
The remake is one of the worst ever.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's another one.
There's another remake of the remake that's supposed to be like,
no,
I don't get it because it looks weird.
It's terrible. We don't need it. We don't need it. Anyway.
Yeah. You know who I'm not afraid of, like ever? Carrie Elways.
You not afraid of Carrie Elways?
I am not afraid of that guy. Even if he's like a stone cold psycho, like he's playing in this movie, like I am not afraid of that guy at all.
What if he snuck up on you?
No.
Even then?
No. Like you telling me like
what if he
the main antagonist of your movie is the guy Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah, but what if it was dark out and you got into your car and he was in the back seat the whole time?
You know what's funny about me is I'm a grown man. I am 38 years of age and I always check.
You check?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually pretty smart. You're a smart guy.
Every time I get into a car, I check.
So you'll never be snuck up on in that regard?
Nope.
What would you do if you saw somebody laying back there?
I would.
Would you call the proper authorities?
Oh God, would I ever? Yeah, you know what I mean. Even if it's a guy just trying to sleep it off, you know, we're calling the authorities here. I
would also. Yeah, that's probably smart. Until I get my sword, I've been looking for a new sword.
And do you know what did that to me?
That you got scared.
What put that fear into my head?
The movie Urban Legend.
Close. Scary stories to tell in the dark. The book. Remember the thing with the high beam story?
Yep. Yeah, they do it in Urban
me.
Legend. Yeah.
Yep. And the guy's like, why are you putting, they thought they're flashing the high beams, like, because someone kept getting up in your back seat and I kept trying to tell you.
Right. Yeah. It's a scary one. It's a good twist because you think the asshole behind you is who you should be worried about, but he's actually saving you.
It's another version of the calls coming from inside the house kind of thing.
I got the chills.
You get the Scream. Have you seen Scream? Ooh. You know?
Oh, it gonna be a scream with the scream. Ryan, speaking of weird, did you see the Lighthouse trailer?
I did.
So this is the movie with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, where they just stare at each other and say "what" for at least 2 straight minutes.
2 straight minutes, and it's the guy who directed The Witch, right?
Yeah, which I stopped watching. I turned it off.
Yeah, was it Black Phillip? Was it the name of the goat?
I don't even know if I made it that far. I was bored to tears. To tears, Ryan. Actual tears.
You were crying. You were that bored.
I was crying. So
I became emotional that I was that bored. Yeah.
I'd never been that bored before, and then I just started leaking from the eyes. I couldn't watch it anymore. But this, I don't know, it could be good. It's that A24 shit again.
Yeah, it's one of those like highfalutin horror movies that like is either really good or it's really bad. Like, you know, I put the Witch on the same level as like Hereditary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're like, if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. Like the Babadook is one of those too.
Yeah, those are all yours.
Those are all mine. I like those.
Yeah, I love those. Those are right up your alley.
But I didn't love The Witch.
I'm actually fascinated to hear what you think of the topic du jour, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. How about Haley Steinfeld is set to play Kate Bishop?
Perfect casting.
That is good. So a female Hawkeye, as it were.
Yep, looks just like her.
I think that'll be good. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing, Ryan, before we get to your news, and it's not available on the intranets just yet. It was a special teaser that came out prior to It Chapter 2 Electric Boogaloo, and that was a teaser for Birds of Prey.
See, this one I didn't see because I saw an IMAX, and I think they had different trailers.
Oh, they must have, because I purposely showed up like 20 minutes after my start time.
Yeah.
So I only caught the last trailer, and then they played it right before, and it was actually kind of interesting because they tied it in with it. So what happened was there was a whole bunch of red balloons popped up, and then like from it, and then the DC logo appeared, and then Harley Quinn like takes her hammer, gets rid of all the balloons, and she says something like, "I'm sick of all these clowns," or like something like that. Like, I'm so sick of clowns. So it was like obviously like a double meaning, and then it was just really quick. It was like maybe 20 seconds of like flash kind of action scenes and stuff.
Sure. How'd we look?
I think good, but again, Suicide Squad looked great.
Yeah. I got a teaser for Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan movie.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
Yes, I think we must have had different trailers. It was super quick. It was just a guy like touching bullet holes in like glass. And then it was just like a series of like shots that out of context didn't make any sense to me, but it's Christopher Nolan, so it looks cool.
Huh.
So,
all right.
You know,
it's Nolan. I'll watch it.
Nolan, I'll watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. That's all the news that I got. Let's get to your news.
All right, let's make it quick. All right, because
cool.
We had a big Apple press conference today. So the big news that came out of today is Apple Arcade is coming out. It's $4.99 a month. It's coming next week.
Oh, shit.
If you can believe that. So now Apple, instead of like buying apps, like buying games on the Apple iTunes store, you now get Apple Arcade, which is $4.99 a month. And you can play all of these games across all of your Apple devices. If you have an iPhone, iPad, MacBook, whatever, like you can, get your Apple Arcade. Google is coming out with something similar, but Apple had their big press conference today and revealed that. And they're like, oh yeah, and by the way, it's going to be available next week. So people are going nuts about that. Have you heard of this new iPhone? Not a video game thing, but
no, but hey, we do
like 20 cameras on it.
We do electronics. What's up with the 3 cameras?
One of them is a regular camera, and then you have a wide lens, and then you have an ultra wide lens.
One's just for dick pics.
Yep. So basically, you have a super wide angle lens now, and you're allowed. You can do night shots now, where you can change the aperture setting on the camera, which is actually pretty sweet.
So something for the vampires in your life.
Something for the vampires, but actually, well, you wouldn't be able to take pictures of them because they don't show up in mirrors.
No, but if they happen to be a little bit of a photog, they could.
Yeah. If they,
If they're like a regular Ansel Adams,
yeah, right. He did more landscapes, but
you could do them at night now.
it's basically like cameras as you know them, like DSLR cameras
Yeah.
and digital cameras are now becoming like obsolete. All you need now is a phone. It's ridiculous. And the front-facing camera on the iPhone 11 is as good as the one on the back of your camera now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like it's whatever. But not to get into it. The big takeaway is that they have a gaming service now. Google's coming out with their own. So we have all of these things now. The other big news, Richard, that I'm very excited for, and it's the last thing I'll talk about because it's the only thing that matters this week in video game news. Friday the 13th, this Friday or Thursday,
right.
Thursday
Friday
night.
do we do a stream?
Do you know it's Friday the 13th and a full moon?
Oh my God.
Did you know that?
Well, it's been nice knowing you.
It's been nice knowing you. Borderlands 3 is going to be released this
Season
Friday.
of the Witch?
No, but this game, I love Borderlands games, and this one looks kick-ass. I actually played both Borderlands in my spare time this summer to get ready for this game. So this is the game of the fall I've been really, really looking forward to. And that's coming out on Friday. So look for the stream. The stream's coming back, and it's coming back with Borderlands 3.
I love it.
How about that?
That's Arbon D on the old Twitch.
Yeah, and the last bit of news. Are you, Rich, are you interested in The Last of Us? The Last of Us 2?
I am interested.
Did you know that they are timing their release? They're going to release some more information, some more gameplay, some stuff like a lot of more information about this game on the day that Gears of War 5 comes out.
Why are they doing that?
Because fuck you. That's why. Sony knows how to play the game, man. You want to release like your big title for Xbox? Well, here you go. People are going to be more interested in this.
That's like WWE putting NXT on Wednesday because AEW's on Wednesday. They're like, oh, we have this now. And you're like, what? Yep. We're going to do that. You're like, well, that's what we're doing.
So that's how Sony do. Sony's just stepping on everyone's toes these days.
Hey, can I ask you something?
Please do.
So you mentioned how that Apple Arcade is $4.99, and it reminded me of something. The other week, I got an email to my personal email that said, hey, thanks so much for purchasing ESPN Plus. Like, welcome aboard. I did not purchase ESPN Plus. I've gotten follow-up emails, and it was like, here's your billing statement, like $4.99 this month, and then it's going to bill again on October 1st. And I'm like, I didn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
I checked my bank statements and my credit card, no charges. But they're like telling me I have ESPN Plus.
I think you're being tricked. I think you're being pranked. I think if you click on something on that email, I think it's going to damage you somehow.
So I emailed one of the things they really made it look pretty good because my wife immediately said it's fake, and I'm like, you're probably right, but like they have all the graphics, it says everything, it says ESPN, it says the whole thing, and I go down and there's like a thing, it's like if you want to be like unsubscribe or blah blah blah, and so I wrote back and I was like, listen, I didn't get this, like, can you just make sure I don't get billed? So then they send another thing back. They're like, oh, we couldn't find you on file, but if you fill out all of this information, we can help you out.
See?
I was like, Jesus,
being cranked.
So then I, of course, gave them my serial number, my social security number,
right away.
Immediately gave them my bank account. No, but I was like, man, they made it look real, and it was like all the ESPN like graphics. It was everything.
And they're like, all right, let's look into this. And to be honest with you, and they're like, we're going to be straight up with you. All right.
Yeah.
The person running ESPN Plus, his father was the king of Nigeria, and we're in some trouble. So I just need you to know that, like, if you feel like kicking in a little to him, but
that's nuts. So like their hope must be, I guess,
that people are like, oh yeah, take me off this. Like,
hey, I didn't do this. And then they get you. I was like, Jesus.
They're like, what credit card would you have used for this? Let us look into that.
Give us that number and the expiration date.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that's no problem.
Oh yeah, totally. Because this is definitely
scary. I was like,
yeah, it's super scary. You gotta watch out.
That one was so real, and like, there's always the ones like people call all the time. Not me necessarily, but I've heard stories they call all the time. They're like, oh, I'm with this person and this, and like they kind of scare you, but they're so obvious. Like,
so obvious.
Like, but this one, I was like, man, they dressed this thing up real nice.
There was a guy who called me once. This is just a quick story. There's a guy who called me once collecting a bill for some place I'd never been.
I mean, come on.
You know what I mean? And it wound up like he started like I frustrated him to the point, because sometimes when you're just messing with people and you just frustrate him to the point where he started calling me like a scumbag, and he was gonna like call everybody I knew and tell them
Yeah.
that like I didn't pay my bills.
Right. You're like,
And I'm like,
for it.
dude, let's get out of here.
Just stop, man.
Yeah.
Just enough. Enough is enough.
It's brutal. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my story on that. Ryan, are you ready for the topic du jour? Ryan?
I'm sorry?
Ryan, the topic du jour. Oh, let me clear that up. It's the topic of the day.
You know, I always forget it. I always forget what that is. You know.
Well, today, I'm glad you asked. It is It Chapter 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
2 hours and 49 minutes.
Mm-hmm. A whopper.
It was a full film.
Uh-huh.
Currently, our last check on Rotten Tomatoes, 64% by the critics and 80%, 80, by the audience. We will start, as we do with all of our movie and TV reviews, spoiler-free. I ask you, Ryan, did you like it?
Kinda.
Okay.
I liked more of it than I didn't like.
See, I think I am on the, like, just opposite of that. Like, I don't feel like we've had some movies where, you know, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, for example, I'm at like a 10, you're at like a 4, and it's like a big difference. This sounds like, I know we do let's just actually, before we get into all this, the dork score, like, what's your dork score?
3.5, 4. Soft 4, hard 3.5.
Yeah, I'm 3.5, maybe 3.
I would lean more towards a 4.
I think there was enough of it there for me. It might be 3.5, but to me, it was wildly disappointing. I think it was one of the most disappointing movies of 2019.
There were specific things that I was disappointed in.
Yeah,
that we'll get into in spoilers. But there's enough things that I liked about it.
Yeah,
that I wasn't pissed that I saw it.
I think part of it for me, and like everybody knows the It story, whether you read the book or whether you saw the TV miniseries thing, whatever, with Tim Curry, like, you know enough about it.
Yeah.
And I think part of it on the surface for me is that I just I don't love the story and I don't love the villain. Like, to me, Pennywise, and I'm scared of clowns, so it should be an easy. It should be an easy villain.
It's a layup. It's an empty netter for you.
Not a top 10 horror villain. Maybe not top. So. Maybe not top 20.
I don't think so. I think if you just made the first It, you got an argument.
Yeah,
this ruins it.
It does. It does. And like, I think like some of the makeup and stuff, like I saw what they were trying to do, but it really wasn't that scary. Like, to me, the Tim Curry It, or like just your standard Bozo the Clown.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I knew someone's gonna do it.
Yeah. But
he's not even supposed to be there.
No, he's not. Clown pewter, but doesn't have any fucking games. Like John Wayne Gacy, like when they showed him like dressed as a clown, like this. That's more terrifying than like this one that they try to like all do.
Yeah, and we'll get into my issues with that down the road here.
What did you think of the first It? Because we did this. It was actually, I think, episode 31, but Goo filled in for you. And so you can go back in weei.com if you guys missed it. You can check that one out. We did the whole first one. So it came out about 2 years ago, almost to the day. So we haven't really talked about it with you so much. What did you think of the first one?
I liked it. I had issues because I read the book, and I'm going to mention that I read the book, but I read the book like 25 years ago.
Right.
You know, so I remember when I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember this part. Like, as I was watching it, but I didn't remember a whole lot of it because I think I read it when I was like 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah.
And it goes into, obviously it's like 1,000-page book, so you can't like go into as much detail. But one thing I really did like about the book is it goes back and forth between like kids and adults.
Yeah.
So what I didn't really like about the first movie is it's just the kids.
Yeah,
as good as the kids were, I wanted to see. And this movie, you got the back and forth, which was kind of nice because it filled in some of the gaps of the other movie.
Yeah, yep.
You know, because remember in the first movie, there was like a gap where like they flashed forward a little bit. It was like July, and then it was like September. So there's like that month. So they filled that in a little bit, which I thought was clever. But again, I don't think this one went. I like the first one better. So I would say the first one was like a 4.5.
Yeah, I think I ended up giving it a 4. So that's the thing. I think I like both of these movies less than you do. So I think I went 4, and I'll go 3.5 tops for this one. And there were things to like. Like, I probably should have liked it more. It was just kind of disappointing. I think one of the things, and I sort of said it with the clown part, but even just the rest of it, it's Stephen King and it's horror, so it should be scary. Don't think it was that scary.
There was the scares that you got were great.
I only thought there was a couple.
But those ones were good. Were really good.
Yeah, one stands out, and I will hit on that. But one stands out to me.
Yeah,
I did think the casting was really, really good,
and that's kind of what saved it for me.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah,
like Bill Hader's the best. McAvoy was good. Jessica Chastain was good.
Yep, the guy who played the fat kid, right?
Oh, Ben.
That guy looked like each other, but like not.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. And the guy who played Eddie, they looked exactly like each other.
So the guy who played Eddie was Ziggy in season 2 of The Wire, and he was perfect.
Ziggy put me off The Wire. I still haven't finished The Wire because of Ziggy.
Yeah, you got to move on. Season 3 might be the best season. You got to keep pushing through there. But I mean, the characters were good. I definitely have that.
And do you know who played Mike? Older Mike? Do you know who that guy is? Isaiah Mustafa.
Yeah, no, who's that?
That's the guy, the shirtless guy from the Old Spice commercials. The I'm on a horse guy.
Come on,
that's him.
Interesting.
I only knew that because I recognized his name, Isaiah Mustafa. Like you don't.
That's amazing.
That yeah.
How about that? So quick thing on some of like the lower villains, like all time horror villains. If I had to just give you like an either or, like who's better? Who would you rank higher for villains? Pennywise or Pinhead?
Pennywise. I don't like the Hellraiser movies. I like Pennywise.
I think Pinhead looks cooler though.
Yeah, but he's not in it a lot. Like he's not in the movies a lot.
No, he really doesn't do much. What about Pennywise versus Leprechaun?
It's funny. Like in the second movie, they're kind of the same.
I mean, there's lots of
that's a push.
What about like Pennywise versus
Candyman?
Oh, definitely Candyman.
Definitely Candyman.
What about Chucky? Because I don't love
Pennywise over
either.
Chucky.
I don't love Child's Play either.
Yeah.
Because I think all like the main ones, it's pretty clear cut.
What do you think? Pennywise versus like Jeepers Creepers or whatever the hell that movie was.
Yeah, that was actually not good.
That was not good.
That's probably Pennywise still over that.
So he's like middle of the road. Like he's not a top tier guy.
No, he's not. He's not a top tier guy. And I just thought my big takeaway was the first one. And this movie made a lot of money too over the weekend, but the first movie made a ton. It like broke all kinds of records.
Yeah.
And it was so hyped up that I think it came back crashing back down to reality a little bit here. But the first one I don't think was that good. Like we've seen better horror movies and people were going nuts for it. Yeah, I don't know why that is. But.
So 91 and counting this weekend. 91.2, almost $100 million this weekend. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. So it'll probably over time double that up just in the United States and then more worldwide. So I mean that's good for a horror movie. Would you recommend this as a theater movie?
No.
Me neither.
Nope.
And one of the main reasons is it's 3 hours long.
It's 3 hours long.
And it's funny because I mentioned something about before I went. I'm like, like not really looking forward to it. It's 3 hours long. And somebody on Twitter was like suck it up, like be a man. Like it's movies can be good. I'm like,
be a man. Yeah, I'm being a man. I have responsibilities. I have a kid at home. Yeah. Like I can't be away from home for 4 hours.
But not only that, but like some movies can be 3 hours. This one didn't need to be.
No,
and I knew it ahead of time.
How long was the first? The first one was like 2 hours on the nose, right?
2:15, I believe.
So you could have extended that one. What I would have loved is the first 15 minutes of this movie. You could have put on the end of it, chapter 1.
Oh, I know. So they're both 2.5.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you still save yourself 20 minutes. That I wouldn't have hated that.
The beginning of so you could get that little bit of crossover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or what this really could have been 5. I mean, again, it's a theater and they were successful, but like if this was a Netflix 5 or 6 episodes on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because that's kind of what they did with the miniseries. That was super long. But anyway, so you're going 4. I'm gonna go like I'm gonna go at 3.5, but I think like the territory that it's in, like of all the movies that we've reviewed, for me, it's in like the Glass, Brightburn kind of territory. Brightburn's probably better, but like
Brightburn, I liked. Yeah, like I didn't like Glass at all.
It's probably better than Dark Phoenix. It's better than
better. It's better than that.
Better than Godzilla.
Yeah,
but like that to me, that's kind of where it's at. Like
it's in that lower third.
I didn't really love it that much.
Yeah.
Anything else? Non-spoilers.
No, definitely don't see it in the theater. You can wait. You can wait on this one.
Yeah, that's a good recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, spoilers. All right, let me start out with this part. So Mike, played by the guy from the Old Spice commercials, as you said,
he's on a horse.
This is just a logistics thing. Everybody listening to this has seen the movie at this point. So he's the only one still living in Derry 27 years after the first event.
Yeah.
Right. And this guy, the Pennywise, shows up every 27 years. That's sort of the deal. If he wasn't in Derry, nobody would know, right?
Nope, like this would have never happened.
He brought them back.
Well,
because I think that Pennywise still would have attacked Derry, but none of these people involved would have known, or in this case, like two of them wouldn't have died.
Well, here's the issue I had with the whole thing, because you find out at the end of the movie, and spoiler, that like Mike doesn't really have any fucking idea what he's doing. So they have this whole convoluted conversation about like
he was willing to sacrifice all of them,
right? And
like because what he read was like, oh yeah, maybe we're all gonna have to die for this to work.
Yeah, and he's like, they have this whole convoluted conversation of like, because I think Richie says like, well, why didn't we just stay? Like, why didn't we just stay away? Like, so what? Like, some kids die, whatever. That would have been my exact reaction. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds heartless. Be like, okay, like 3 or 4 kids die. Like, I'm not. No, right. You know what I mean?
Or you could be like, or maybe they don't. Like, we survived.
But they're like, but no, because 27, like if we kind of stopped at this time and then 27, we won't make it till the next one. Like, well, what's the difference?
But they were
like, all... if I know I'm going to die in 27 years from today, like I'm going to go live it up. Like I have it. Every single one of them had a great life, except for Bev.
Bev was kind of just reliving her life, which was sad and hard to watch. But
that's the whole thing. Like,
I don't know, because
it just seemed kind of convenient and stupid.
Because I feel like other movies that have something like this, where they all have like a traumatic event and then it goes away and comes back, like there's something that pulls them back there. But the only thing that pulled them back there was Mike calling them and being like, "Get back here."
Because they didn't even remember, and like same thing happened. Like they don't even remember, but it's Mike's call that like kind of jogs everyone's memory.
Yeah, right. Because the memory, like it's like a memory wipe, and then but they're all living their lives, and they're like not friends anymore, and they're all in different places. Every one of them, but Mike, has left Derry, and then he fucking calls Stanley. Stanley kills himself.
Which you find out like after like why he did that and whatever. But there's just like,
but think about it. If Mike didn't call Stanley's still alive.
Yep.
He just didn't call him.
And what was the point?
That was insane.
What was the point? And again, I haven't read the book in 25 years. So like, this is like, what was the point of Bev having all of that like foreknowledge of like how Stanley died? Like, why did that matter?
Oh, it didn't.
It didn't matter because that didn't happen.
And then she's like, but she's like,
I've seen it, but like then it didn't happen.
Yeah, but she like convinced them, I guess, to stay on the plan because she's like, I've seen you all die, but obviously that all didn't come true.
And that never happened. Like, so you didn't. So you just had you literally just had a bad dream.
Because I think that the important thing is we need to figure out what Pennywise's deal is.
Well, I think again, the idea of the book is that we all have things that we're afraid of, things that we carry with us that we ultimately have to face and identify, right? Whether it be some trauma, something you're guilty about, something that happened to you when you were younger that you kind of have to face down as an adult. I get it.
Yeah, because
right? especially and you carry it. There's like an echo that like it comes back. Like it never really goes away.
Because I never read the book, but I've seen or heard that Pennywise shapeshifts into like a million different things in the book.
Yes. Yeah. And the clown obviously is the most famous, but like to anyone he presents himself to, it's always different.
What would it be for you?
That's a good question. I haven't actually really thought of that.
For me,
it would be a clown for you?
Snake, probably.
Snake.
Probably a snake.
A snake.
Definitely a snake. I know you're a grown man and you're not afraid of anything, but if you had to play the game.
No. I'm like that. I'm like legitimately thinking like there's some things that I'm scared of, but I wouldn't like
diet ginger ale.
Ginger ale with lemonade in it. Get that out of here. I'm afraid of that. No, I don't know. I would
a big picture of lemonade ginger ale. It just sends him just
someone sitting me down and making me drink a whole pitcher of Keef sangria.
Oh, you'd love it. You would
Sounds
love
lovely.
it. You'd sleep like a baby.
No, I think
you know what I'm drinking right now as a brief aside, as you think.
What do you get there?
So this is recommend from my sister-in-law recommended this. It's just as simple as this. Rather than going through all the bells and whistles of making a margarita, you take tequila, and then you take limeade.
Yeah, man, limeritas.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. You know what I think part of it is the fact that I can identify what scares the crap out of me. I think there's like a surprise factor.
Well, as we know, this is a deep pull for the longtime #Dork fans.
Yeah.
But as Davey would say, what's scarier than nothing?
Something. No, but I think
maybe nothing.
Me not knowing what I'm really, really afraid of.
That's
and then it's presented in front of me as like a surprise.
Oh boy.
Like I think what you're really afraid of, you don't really know. You know?
Yes. No, I think I have a pretty good idea. It's snakes.
So I'm almost positive it's snakes. Yeah. You're just in like a pit of snakes.
Actually, it's snakes. It's clowns. It's the
Buried Alive. Like Buried Alive is a bad one. Drowning is another one.
Oh.
Like the thing that made me like really like when Bill was like he was swimming up and he hit a ceiling like underwater.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've had that dream several times.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't like that.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But how about this? After pretty much all said and done, you basically just need to insult Pennywise.
Just bully him.
Yep. Bully him.
Just bully him. Like that's how you like some of you are afraid of bullies, so in order to get over that, you need to call your greatest fear names and just beat it into the ground.
Yeah. Just shame.
And not even like,
no, you're just a clown. You're just a clown.
You're a clown. You're a clown. I'm just going to start screaming. If anyone pisses me off, I'm just going to start yelling clown at them.
Little clown.
Yeah.
And then
that was just like
stuffed in a little wall.
Is that just like the dumbest thing ever too?
So dumb. And I'm glad you mentioned that because we've been doing a lot of episodes. We've talked about a lot of different things. You know me as well as anybody. When we watch movies, I give everything a chance. I'm not the person that goes, "This is stupid." I don't do that.
I did not have any negative feelings going into this movie. I was hoping it was going to be really good.
Me too. And I love all kinds of different things. A lot of the movies that I love, a lot of people would say that's stupid. As I'm watching this, I'm like, this is just stupid.
Yeah, and so I'm glad you said that because my biggest problem with this movie, for every good thing they did, 20 seconds later, they shot themselves in the foot.
100%.
And it was like, I love, like, you know me, like, I love Evil Dead.
Yes.
I love campy horror movies.
Yeah.
Where there's a little bit of comic relief. But the comic relief happens kind of like before a tense moment or after a tense moment. Like, what really tripped me out was like there's this whole big climactic battle going on like in this cave with this big spider monster clown.
Ugh.
And Richie and Eddie are talking about like banging each other's moms, like in the middle of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, what are we doing?
Like, there's like these really scary parts.
Yeah.
And I get it that you're trying to do like the comic relief thing, but like the tone was just so off.
But also it was like, for me, and I don't know, maybe if I was watching it as a little kid, I'm sure I would have been terrified.
Yeah.
But like the half ghost, half spider, to me, is just stupid.
That's stupid.
If you were just not ghost, clown, half spider. If you were a full clown, I'm more scared. If you were full spider, I'm probably more scared. But you're doing it like that. It reminds me of like the Beetlejuice cartoon where like he would just like turn into all these different weird things. And you're like, that's kind of like, okay, look at this.
Basically Beetlejuice is what it boiled down to. And then what got me too is like the practical effects that they had and some of the special effects that they were using. Like the Paul Bunyan thing, that didn't scare me at all. The leper choking the leper, like that was just fucking stupid.
That was dumb.
Like the saggy titty old lady, like that got me once.
That was actually one of the parts.
That was one of the good ones. That got me once.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
okay.
Was it Bauer's friend, the zombie crawling out under the bed? Like that was pretty good.
That wasn't bad.
Because you were expecting a clown, but you didn't.
Yeah, right. So that was like a little bit of a twist.
That was pretty good.
But I've always maintained that.
What about the Stanley Spiderhead?
Stanley Spiderhead.
What's his name?
Oh yeah, Stanley.
That was pretty good.
That wasn't bad. I just think that like the whole idea and like Pennywise is a shittier knockoff of Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street. I mentioned this in the last pod because it's not dream sequences, but
it's pretty close.
It's a guy who can sort of manipulate and he feeds off your fear, and he does all this stuff, and he can be whatever he wants. He's somewhat invincible, and it's just like, they do it better though, because Freddy Krueger at least has more of a backstory that you can wrap your head around, whereas Pennywise is like, was it like an alien or like what? Like what's the deal here?
It's an alien. It's like the manifestation of like fear, and then you bring in this thing with like, you know, God bless them, but you bring in this thing with like Native Americans, which like Stephen King books like somehow do that all the time.
They do that a lot.
Like Pet Cemetery. This I think it happens in like not the Tommyknocker. I forget which other book, but like it.
Yeah.
But like these things come up, and you're just like, it just seems way too convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mechanism by which the dais, or like the thing that like we it's like this Native American box, but they can't fucking figure out.
Like,
you know, like,
but also just like in Nightmare on Elm Street, like it originally attacks kids, like it's just a kids thing, and like it doesn't haunt the adults. In this case, like Pennywise, for the most part, the adults can't even see him. Like these adults can, because I guess they saw him originally.
Like, they saw him originally.
That's also kind of a loophole, I guess.
Like he's not supposed to, and the whole idea is like you forget because you're not afraid anymore.
Yeah.
And then they kept saying that like I'm not
or
afraid
like when
of you,
you leave Gary, right? Like I don't get that part.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's too many questions.
And I remember, like I said, the book, like for a 1,000-page book, goes into incredible amounts of detail with these characters. Like there's scenes with like kid orgies and stuff. Like it's
that's
wackadoo.
Yeah, Bev has sex with every one of the guys.
Yeah.
Right before they go and then confront Pennywise the first time.
Yeah.
When they're all like 12.
Right.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So we didn't get into that.
How about this movie opening with like a hate crime?
So that happens in the book. Like people are like pissed off about that, but that actually that happens in the book. And
Got it. Okay. That makes more sense.
It's actually one of the fascinating things about that scene is it's actually more relevant now.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
And people were giving like Stephen King people give Stephen King a hard time about like his treatment of like the LGBTQ community, like in his books. And I think this was it's more relevant now than it was then.
Yeah.
Like back then it would have been seen as like, that's a little, I remember reading that and being like, you know, because it's the language that's being used, and you wonder if like the author, because he actually goes into the whole backstory of like the town, and like the town was like, at one point, there was like a couple of gay bars in the town of Derry.
Oh, okay.
But he gives like this whole, again, it's this whole history thing. It's like very George R. R. Martin. Like you give like details that you don't really need.
And like, what is it? Like 80% of his books involve like the town of Derry. Like there's like, like there's a lot of them at least reference it, whether they are placed there or reference it.
Right. So yeah, so that actually happens in the book. And so I'm glad they put it in.
Okay.
You know,
so I guess it was somewhat true to the book. But maybe I just wouldn't like the book. It's like the way I read, like the way I see the story. I'm like, I don't really. It's not for me.
And it's funny, like I liken it to like a Game of Thrones book because you have different chapters deal with different people at different times.
Okay.
You know, so it kind of jumps back and forth. So you get like Bev age, whatever she would be, like 39, or you know what I mean? Like you would, then you would be like Bev age 12.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so like it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
And it'll give you the date, like whenever is happening.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How about Stephen King being in it? Little cameo.
That was good. And I love his Mainer accent too. That was good.
Well, that's not bad.
I thought you can afford it.
They just give Bill shit about how bad all of his endings are.
Like which is like Stephen King's knock on him. Like his endings suck, clearly.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah. It took me 3 hours, but I watched it. I mean, I think the worst stuff for me in the movie, like 2 hours and 49 minutes, it's not good enough to be worth that kind of time.
No. And I think the worst part for me, again, is the tonal shifts happen so quickly because you're dealing with like child abuse and molestation and like kids being killed. And then you switch gears, you hit the e-brake in 180 to like, oh, I'm married to your mom. I banged your mom last night. And it's just like so juvenile. Like it doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
It like and again, it isn't lost on me like what they were trying to do, but like for me, it just didn't work. It just kind of fell flat.
I agree.
And some of the effects are just stupid.
Kind of cheesy too. I also thought the scene where like, so they set up how they all need to go for this ritual that they needed to do. They all needed to gather artifacts. That just seemed to go on forever. Like
It seemed to
so
go
you're
on
like, oh my
forever.
god. And like after the second character like went and found his artifact, you're like, oh shit, we got to do like 4 more of these.
Yeah.
And so that just kind of dragged. And like some were scarier than others. I didn't think it was all that scary. The best part to me was probably the scene where Bev went back to her house and the old lady was there.
But the issue we always have with that is you saw that in the trailer. You saw most of that in the trailer.
They actually released that as like a scene. Like, I wonder if they knew that the movie wasn't great and they're like, we got to give our best stuff. Because I still think
is in it. Yeah.
Maybe the scariest part to me, and this is always like the scariest shit to me, is the stuff that's like in the background.
Yeah, like that. I love that stuff.
That's
and like you
horrifying.
nailed it. Like you nailed it. You said this seeing Pennywise like in the background as a clown is way scarier than seeing him as like this like huge spider thing.
Like
that didn't scare me at all.
Where Bev is like looking at, I don't even know what she's looking at, a book or she's looking at something in her old house. She's looking at the pictures in her old house. And then the lady
like doing that shuffle.
Yes.
Yeah.
The lady does the shuffle across the kitchen door. That's terrifying. Like that's the kind of stuff that will stick with me later on.
And like the scariest parts to me, the old lady does it and Pennywise did it because my father, he that those moments where he just kind of like stops, and the woman does it where she's just like staring into nothing, and then they kind of like break out of it really fast.
Yeah, like when he like his lazy eye kicks in
and he starts like drooling a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
And then he like jump. Like I liked it. That's good build up. It's not that like over the top shit.
The old lady did give a good jump scare too. Like when she came running out or whatever, or like she like,
and you knew she was coming, but you didn't know it was going to be like that.
You weren't sure what or how or what she's going to look like. That was good.
The second time you saw it, it was dumb.
Yes, right. It's like with most things.
Yeah.
Like anytime you see something like that, or in like horror movies, like less is always more. Like go with the Jaws technique. Like less is always more. And yeah, so they definitely kind of burnt out like how much they showed Pennywise. I also thought most of the Bowers storyline was kind of stupid.
So there's way more of that in the book.
Okay,
way more of it. And he's like that. In the book, he's just a waft psycho. Like
the kid was awful in the first one. Like
so it's even like worse. Yeah. But that was the thing. Like they didn't really need it.
I think it was kind of useless. Like you could have probably eliminated most of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I wanted to note was when they were looking for their artifacts, and Bill found Georgie's paper boat, which was there 27 years ago.
Hey, but he covered it in the wax, so it would have kept.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. All right.
And I like we have to go on this quest to find this artifact. Oh, but Ben has had his in his wallet the whole time, so he didn't really have to do one.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of stupid.
Well, the other thing was like when
Eddie needed to get an inhaler that he had a prescription for. What's with the guy jerking off and smelling it? What was that all about?
I don't like that.
I don't like that one bit.
How about Eddie? His wife is just like his mom.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like that bit.
That was good. She's enormous. That was fine. But like, you're right. I mean, it all goes back to like, when Richie, Bill Hader was there and he's like, screw this, we should leave. Like if he left, he would have been fine. Like the way this thing works, like he personally would have, I know he still was fine, but they still had out of the 7 losers, which they called themselves, 2 of them died. And they wouldn't have. No, it would have been fine. Crazy.
And I think that's like, and if someone told you at the age of 40, right?
Yep.
That you're going to die in 27 years.
So I'm 67.
67, which that sucks, but like
I'll make the most out of those next 27.
Like, well, the next cycle comes around, like you're going to die horribly. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but why? I just won't go back to dairy.
Yeah, I'll forget. As soon as I leave here, I'm not going to remember any of this shit.
I'm going to forget. I'm going to go back to my life.
I don't know. Yeah.
Did any of them have... I guess Bill's life was good, right?
Bill's life was good. So he was a writer. He was a writer. His ending stuck, but he was a successful writer.
His wife was an actress, and he was on there. How about was that Peter Bogdanovich was the director?
Yeah. So Bev in the
Bev's
book is not as well off as she is in this movie. She doesn't own like a clothing line or whatever.
no, but
It's
her life,
it's an abusive relationship, and
right.
she bounces from abusive relationship to abusive relationship.
Richie
So
was
her
doing
life is
okay.
good. Richie's life is great. Mike is living in the attic of the library, but he
Not
never
great.
left.
Ben looks great. He lost
Ben's
1 million
great.
pounds. He looks
Yep.
great.
Eddie's
Eddie,
fine,
he's fine.
and Stanley's fine.
Right.
Why? You made an oath. Like,
Just keep doing what you're doing, man.
now, you and I have known each other for over 20 years.
Right.
If you called me out on a promise I made to you when I was 18 years old,
Yeah, you're not coming back.
like,
no, dude,
what?
I don't remember.
Like, you promised me.
I mean, listen, we got to get back there. We got to get back to St. Paul. We got to go.
I called you.
Yeah.
And I said, you made me a promise when you were 17 years old that if I ever got divorced, I could come and live with you and I could live on your couch no matter what. I'm calling you out for that. You'd be like, you got to find somewhere else to go.
No. If I called you, Shark, Bessie, and Woody and was like, remember sophomore year when we said we were all going to go to Antarctica when we were 50?
You said it.
How many? Who do you think would go?
Sharky would go.
Shark would. Yeah, I think Shark would.
All right.
Yeah, in. Yeah, you said so. Let's say
I've never been there.
Yeah, the other guys wouldn't.
That's not how he talks, by the way.
No, it isn't. That's a poor.
I'm trying to convey his unbridled enthusiasm for everything.
He's in for it. He'd make it a hell of a time too. That's a little inside dork right there, but that'd be good. Anything else on this movie, Ryan?
By the way, just to put a pin in that, I would say I would go with you and then bail at the last minute.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Oh, Davey said he's going? Yeah, he said he's going.
Dude, I totally forgot. Like, something came up.
Just got a call from Davey. He's not coming.
Got a call. He's not coming, yeah.
He's not coming. It's too bad. You got anything else on this picture? It's kind of, I'm telling you, it was on the very short list of movies, and I don't know why, because I didn't love the first one, but I think it was because I saw the cast that it was like a top 5 most anticipated movie. I know for you it was Captain Marvel, but for me it was Endgame, and then there was like a bunch after that, and this was one of them. And just like Glass, like they were, and McAvoy's in both of them. They were both letdowns.
And to be honest, like, I think the cast did exactly what, as much as they could have.
I think it's this. I think it's honestly the story, and it's the villain, and it's
script, it's writing. I think this boils down to bad writing.
Yeah, because they nailed it. They did whatever they could.
They did what they could, and everyone. I don't think there was a bad performance from any other than, you could say Bill Skarsgård. You could say that Pennywise was a little too like.
But they probably asked him to like ham it up.
No,
you know.
Yeah, I
don't really blame him so much. Yeah, like Hader was great, but he's great in everything.
He's good in everything. I mean, that guy's never been in a bad anything.
No, he has not.
Is that true? Did I just lie about that?
Bill Hader.
No, he was in Hot Rod, and that movie kicks ass.
He was really good in that too. Yeah.
Hello. I like to party.
I know for a fact you don't love to party.
When he does acid and gets the thing stuck in his head.
That's an underrated comedy right there.
I love Hot Rod.
That's good.
You know what I love?
What's that?
Let's bring in the new segment. You know what I love?
Oh, wait, what do you love?
Hot Rod. The movie Hot Rod.
That's not going to get as much pushback as my Lana Del Rey.
Did you get a lot of pushback for that?
Well, mainly from you.
Mainly from me. Yeah, that was a big time eye roll from me.
You didn't like that.
Did you watch her SNL performance, by the way?
Not yet.
Ooh.
I'll save that for a rainy day.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Put you right to sleep. That's what it'll do.
You know what I love?
What do you tell me?
No, I mean, I think I've told you everything that I love.
No, you got to come up with something. What else do you love?
What do I love?
Oh, yeah.
You guys seen Scream?
You love Scream.
You seen
Scream?
You love
Neve Campbell.
No, I was actually more of a Rose McGowan fan in that movie.
Very pale.
I don't care.
I don't think blonde hair did her very. I don't know. Who am I?
What do I care?
Who am I? With the Sunbird Boys. What do we care? We care about pale.
She dyed her hair blonde for that movie because they didn't want to have brunette.
2 brunettes. Yep.
And with blonde. Yeah.
Yep.
Took one for the team there.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So then she gets stuck in a garage door.
Oh, yeah. That probably would. You know, most garage doors, they have that safety feature where if something gets stuck, they just lower back. You're
right.
Yeah.
That would never happen.
That would never happen.
Other than that, though, it's a perfect movie.
Perfect movie.
Yeah. That's the only flaw in it.
Mm-hmm.
but some people like that scene. So, and they're sickos.
Not for me.
Ryan, you ready for the pick of the podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may also defend a goal?
I will defer to you since I received last time.
All right, my pick of the pod. This is a quick turnaround. So if you're listening to this podcast this very week, Saturday, Oktoberfest at Idle Hands, there's going to be all kinds of festivities, including a Stein hoisting competition, which I will be doing the play-by-play of.
Round 2. Is
Live
Dr. Joe coming back to defend his title?
As far as I know, Dr. Joe is going to be back to defend his title.
Do you know what? Do you know what I think gives him the advantage?
He's a back doctor.
Posture.
Yeah, he knows how to stand.
Yeah, he knows how to stand strong. You know,
I think that'll help him out.
Yeah.
So he'll be there. There's also going to be a dunk tank. A dunk tank where Adam Jones from the Sports Hub and DJ Bean from NBC Boston will be the assholes getting dunked.
How did you pull that off?
What do you mean?
You didn't pull that off? Like, you're just like...
I am doing Stein hoisting because that's what I do.
That's what I do. That's my lane, right?
They're much more dunkable than I am, so they're gonna dunk.
Are they paying them to be there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Give me a crisp $100 bill. I'll get in a dunk tank. You know,
I don't think they're getting a crisp $100 bill. They might get a couple of brew dogs.
Maybe
that's my guess. A couple of
ice cold ones. You know,
nice tall, nice pint.
Nice one there. Yeah.
Nice one. So anyway, come on down. Also, right now, if you go to one of our more recent tweets at Dork Podcast, if you follow the Twitter account and you retweet it, it's the one that says to retweet it. You'll be entered into a chance giving out 2 free passes to said event. So I will not give those out until people have had time to listen to this and see that, and then we will do that. So hit that up. Also, very quick turnaround, but on Wednesday night, you might be listening to this right now and saying, well, I got nothing to do on Wednesday night. Mac and Goo are hosting a Marvel trivia at Idle Hands. So get your ass down to Idle Hands.
It's great that they can't win it themselves and cheat. You know what I mean?
They come up with the questions. They're not going to be sitting there. And Goo is going to say who wrote the Sokovia Accords, which nobody really knows the answer to.
Nobody really knows. He's dead set on the fact that Tony Stark. He does present a good argument though. Goo does a lot of things well, and that's one of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
There that is. Yeah.
All right, Brian. What's your pick?
Believe it or not, Richard, and this is going to have a follow-up question for you. My pick of the pod this week is Costco.
Not a sponsor. I'm going to dump that.
Not a sponsor. Don't dump it, but I'm going to tell you why. You know what I found out? And this could have been just me not knowing. And I might. Do you have a Costco membership? You should if you have a child.
No, I can't pay for everything.
Well, that's why you go to Costco.
I have ESPN Plus.
Yeah, you do. Did you know that if you were a Costco member, you could buy 4 packs of AMC movie tickets for $32?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. If you go to Costco, you 4 tickets to any movie you want to see
for $32.
For $32.
So $8. I can go any ticket I want.
Yep. But the only thing is like you get upcharged if you want to go see like IMAX. You have to pay. Like I took one of the tickets, and then I went and saw it, and I got charged like $4.
So you're still saving.
But you're still saving money.
Interesting.
But this is not something they like broadcast all the time. Like I kind of found this out by accident.
Oh, it's kind of like a hush hush.
Yeah. So if you go to Costco and talk to them, they have 4 packs of AMC movie tickets for $32.
That's like there's apparently like a secret menu at like fast food places.
Yeah, like In-N-Out and all that stuff. And then Five Guys is one too.
Yeah, they all do. You can ask for all
Chipotle.
Yeah, you can ask for crazy shit there.
Yeah, you can actually double wrap the burrito. You can get like an extra long one.
I like hot sauce on my burrito, baby.
You know you look good to me. That's a Next Friday reference.
That's a underrated comedy.
That is an underrated comedy.
If there ever was one.
Why didn't y'all do nothing when the fat bitch jumped on me?
She knows all about her bootleg snacks. Oh, man. Ryan, are you excited for next week on #Dork?
I'm so excited.
Breaking Bad.
Jessica Jones, season 3.
That's right. Jessica Jones. JJ, season 3. No, we don't have time for that. We will eventually get to that. It's a problem.
I am so fired up to get to watch Breaking Bad again.
I know, me too.
Is that dumb?
No, I'm really looking forward to it myself.
We're on season 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because we've only done 1.
Go in the archives. You can check out Breaking Bad season 1. It's the shortest season they had. It was only, I believe, 7 episodes. So the reason we're doing this is because the Netflix movie is coming out. El Camino is coming out in October. So basically, the rest of September, consider it Breaking Bad month here on #Dork. They're all available on Netflix, so they're really easy to rewatch. So next week, Davey and I will be talking about season 2. And again, it's one of those things where if you've never seen Breaking Bad, we may spoil a little bit.
Fuck. Yeah, why?
I know, but some people haven't.
I will say this.
We're going to try to focus it on season 2.
There has never... Breaking Bad is the only show I've ever seen that does not have a bad episode.
See, I know you're not a Wire guy, but I would say those are the two for me.
You just said I had to skip a whole season of The Wire.
Well, because you didn't like Ziggy. I liked Ziggy. Ziggy was good. He had a duck. The whole thing was great.
Yeah, you basically anyone I've seen who's watched The Wire be like, yeah, skip season 2 doesn't matter. So you're just negating an entire season.
No, those people don't love The Wire the way I love The Wire. Season 2 is still good.
Now, this is early.
Season 2 is actually better than season 5.
This is early. Has there ever been a bad episode of Barry?
Oof, no, not bad, but there's probably been an episode where you're like, it's fine.
Early runner in the because I bring it up now. Early in the clubhouse, my favorite entertainment moment of the year is Bill fighting the Taekwondo champion. That might be my favorite thing of the year.
That was the episode that Hader directed.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Come on, man. Fucking windpipes crushed. Come on, man. I love that. It's my favorite thing this year.
Yeah, there's been some good stuff.
Trying to do nunchucks while holding his crushed whip.
He was killing the nunchucks.
Yeah. Oh, I'm laughing thinking about it right now. Anyway,
that episode was awesome.
Breaking
Bad, man. I'm pumped. So Breaking Bad season 2. All right. As we said, you can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and everywhere else podcasts are available. You can follow us on Twitter. It's the best Twitter follow on the internet at Dork Podcast.
Unbelievable.
You can subscribe to us on YouTube as well, Ryan. Guess what? This video right here, this episode, available on YouTube. You can see our faces, youtube.com/Dork Podcast. Subscribe there as well.
Remember that time I said I was going to start streaming on YouTube?
Yeah.
Do you know YouTube game streaming is like gone? They just like quietly just disappeared. Well, not a thing anymore.
This is on YouTube.
It sure is.
We'll mix in some live episodes as well.
Yeah.
You can email us anytime with questions, comments, or concerns, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. And Davey also, he'll be getting in the old Twitch.
Yeah, we were actually going to try to start, it's not to timestamp it. We tried to do, it was a little bit of a hiccup. I was going to actually stream this while we recorded it to YouTube and the podcast, but as little wires were getting crossed, we're working on it. Still a work in progress. I say that every week, and I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, and I'm getting as frustrated as you out there. Trust me. All 5 people who watch me stream.
Yeah, well, they're diehards.
Yeah, man.
You got to start somewhere, Ryan, because bones are their money, the worms are their dollars.
That's right.
He said to play something spooky. No, he didn't.
What did he say? What's the guy's name?
Say he wants something spooky. We really like the stuff that Billy did.
Billy
isn't me, or
Billy him, or Billy me?
You're both named Billy?
No. That's why I'm so
confused. All right, Ryan, take it sleazy.
See you, man.